So let us begin with a very simple problem. It is problem number 34.21. So the way to start solving problems is to write down the data that is given in the problem. As you can see, the data given is the Earth's magnetic field value is given. So let us write it as B equal to 42 micro Tesla. Mu is micro, that is 10 to the power minus 6 to minus 6 Tesla. And we are told that it is pointing downwards at an angle of 57 degrees. So theta is equal to 57 degrees. And we are told that the area of the coil through which the magnetic field is passing is given as 2.5 meters square. So A equal to 2.5 meters square. Now we are asked to calculate what is the flux. And the formula for the flux is phi equal to BA cos theta. Now we have B, A, theta value. Let us substitute the theta value into this and also B and A. We have 42 into 10 to the power minus 6. Area is 2.5 and cos 57 degrees. Now if you simplify this using a calculator, you will get 5.72 into 10 to the power minus 5 Weber. 1 Weber is equal to 1 Tesla per meter square. Let us go on to another problem. This is sample problem 34.1. Sample problem 34.1. It's a solved problem in your book, but let us go through it. It's quite interesting. So you have a long solenoid S that has 220 turns per centimeter, and we are given its diameter. Its diameter is 3.2 centimeters. And in the center of the solenoid, we have placed another coil whose number of turns is equal to 130. And the diameter of the coil C is given by 2.1 centimeters. And so we are told that the current in the solenoid S increases from 0 to 1.5 amperes in 0.16 seconds. So since there is a change in current in the solenoid, there will be a change in the magnetic field that is passing through the coil C. Therefore, the flux associated with coil C will be changing, and therefore there will be induced current in coil C. That is what we are supposed to find out. That is induced EMF in coil C. So let's do that. We know from Faraday's law of induction, EMF is equal to d phi by dt. Since we are being asked to calculate only the magnitude of the EMF, we have suppressed the minus sign. Now we know that this flux is associated with coil C, but since there are 130 turns associated with coil C, what we are going to do is this EA formula will change. So therefore we will need to put in a capital N, where capital N is the total number of turns in coil C. Having done that, let us write the formula for phi. We already know what is the formula for phi. It is given by N d by dt. Formula for phi is BA cos theta. You will notice that B is pointing from right to left, and A vector for coil C is also pointing towards the right. So therefore the angle theta between B and A will be 0 degrees. So therefore cos 0 is equal to 1. So we can remove cos theta in the next step, which is given by N d by dt BA. But we know that the area of the coil C does not change with respect to time. So this also can be brought outside. N into A dB by dt. But what is this B? B is the magnetic field produced by the solenoid S. And we are going to assume that solenoid S is an ideal solenoid. So therefore the magnetic field produced by the ideal solenoid is given by the formula mu 0 small n into I. But what is n? Small n? Small n is number of turns per unit length. And we have been given that data in the problem. It is 220 turns per centimeters. But centimeters has to be converted to meters for SI unit. So therefore we get n as 220. Centimeters is in the denominator. So once you bring it to the numerator, we have 220 into 10 to the power 2 turns per meter. Now let us substitute this B into this equation. So finally we get induced EMF is equal to capital N, A, area of the coil C, d by dt of mu 0 n into I. But mu naught, I are constant, so they can be brought outside the derivative. So we get capital N A mu 0 small n di by dt. But what is di by dt? Di by dt is nothing but 1.5 amperes divided by 0.16 seconds. So now if you substitute all the values, capital N, A, what is A? A is the area of the coil C, which is nothing but pi r square, because we are told it's a circular coil. And R is nothing but dc by 2, because we are given the diameter. Be careful, diameter is given in terms of centimeters, so you have to convert it to meters in SI units. So once you do all that, you get a value of induced EMF as 12 millivolts. Let us solve sample problem 34.2. In this, a coil is placed in a time dependent magnetic field, and we are asked to find out the direction and magnitude of the current in the loop at different instances of time. This can be confusing to the students, so therefore I have broken it down into a simple algorithmic steps. So the way you go about it is the following. As a first step, you are going to assume the direction of the induced EMF. So looking at the sample problem 34.2, you could assume the induced EMF to be anti-clockwise or clockwise. This can be arbitrary. So once you have fixed your direction of EMF, like I have done here, I am choosing it to be anti-clockwise. Once you have chosen the induced EMF to be anti-clockwise, then based on this direction you have to fix the A vector, that is the area vector. So for that you are going to use the right hand rule, placing the fingers in the direction of the induced EMF and the thumb pointing in the direction of the A vector. As you can see, the thumb is pointing upwards, so therefore my A vector is pointing outside the plane of the paper. Now what you are going to do is, you are going to calculate what is the rate of change of flux. Now there are two possibilities here. If the rate of change of flux is less than 0, then the flux is decreasing function. That is, you know from calculus that if d phi by dt is less than 0, then the function is a decreasing function. If it is a decreasing function, then the induced EMF will be negative of this decreasing function. Therefore, this is a minus and there is a minus sign coming in from the Lenz's law. Therefore, the direction of the EMF that you have assumed is correct. There could be another possibility where d phi by dt is greater than 0. In such an event, the flux is an increasing function of time. Increasing function of time. If it is an increasing function of time, then the minus sign from the Lenz's law will make the induced EMF to be negative. So therefore the assumed direction of your EMF is wrong and you will have to reverse it. Let us see how this works in the case of sample problem 34.2. So we have been given b of z as a function of time. It is given by the following. It is a time dependent function. So as a first algorithmic step, I choose the induced EMF to be counterclockwise, therefore fixing the A vector pointing outside the plane of the paper. So therefore flux will be given by B of Z, A of Z cos theta. As you can see, B is pointing into the plane of the paper as given in the problem. A is pointing outside the plane of the paper. So therefore theta is equal to 180 degrees. And cos 180 degrees is equal to -1. So therefore this becomes BZ AZ. Now the second step of the algorithm will come into play. That is, we are going to find out what is the rate of change of flux. d phi by dt will then be given by A of Z, there is a minus sign, and dB by dt. So let us take the derivative of this function. First is a constant, so it will drop out. 5.6t will become minus 5.6 and this becomes plus 4.4 into t. So now we will have to put in the minus sign here. So if you multiply the minus sign inside, we get d phi by dt is equal to 5.6 minus minus becomes plus 4t. So in the first instance, we can see that when t equal to 0, this is going to be greater than 0. Therefore, the flux is an increasing function. If flux is an increasing function, what happens? So let's do this. Let us substitute t equal to 1 second. So you get rate of change of flux as 1.2. There is an area vector here, A of Z. 1.2. Since area is positive, 1.2 is positive, so this is greater than 0. Therefore, the induced EMF is minus of this. So you will get a minus 1.2 AZ. So what does this minus sign imply? This minus sign implies that the direction that you have assumed counterclockwise is wrong and you will have to revise it. So therefore, at t equal to 1 second, the induced current is clockwise. And you can put down the numbers for the area of the coil and check that the EMF value that you will get is 0.39 volts. Now you can immediately check what is the direction of the induced EMF for t equal to 2 seconds. Since the function is the same, I will not be repeating this. I will continue to assume that the EMF is anti-clockwise, area vector. So all these steps will go through till here. But at this point, t becomes 2 seconds. If t equal to 2 seconds, you can see this becomes minus 8.8. So let me write this in a fresh piece of paper. So for t equal to 2 seconds, we have d phi by dt is equal to minus 5.6 minus 8.8 into A of Z. Am I correct with the sign? No. So this should have been a plus and this should have been a minus. This should have been a plus, this should have been a minus. So therefore you can see d phi by dt is equal to 5.6 minus 8.8 is equal to minus 3.2 A of Z. Notice that since area is positive, this is a positive integer, so this value is less than 0. So therefore the induced EMF is minus of d phi by dt is equal to 3.2 A of Z. So since this is a positive value, the assumed direction at t equal to 2 seconds is correct. So therefore, let me write it. For t equal to 2 seconds, the induced current is anti-clockwise. And if you look at the sample problem that has been solved in the book, you will get the actual value for this particular induced EMF, and it is given by 1.03 volts. So to summarize, at t equal to 1 second, the induced EMF is 0.39 volts and it is clockwise. For t equal to 2 seconds, the induced EMF is 1.03 volts and it is anti-clockwise. I sincerely urge you to look at some other examples and try to understand the algorithm that has gone into solving this particular problem.